Hey guys, welcome to the Average AF podcast. This is
Yeah.
episode 43.
43.
I am here with Steve as always.
You know.
Big shout out to you guys though for getting us kind of started with YouTube. We're up to 69 subscribers right now.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that. Just a kind of quick word with that. I realized by talking to another person that does, their podcast on YouTube, that our subscribers kind of went down over a couple days.
Right.
I was like, this is kind of weird. I don't know if people are unsubscribing or what's going on. And he said, basically, sometimes if people subscribe and don't like the video or play like 30 seconds of the video or something, YouTube's going to think it's spam, and they're going to unsubscribe them just because they think it's spam. So I kind of get that. Please, if you subscribed, please double check to make sure that you are still subscribed. And we're just trying to get to 100 because once we get to 100, we can have our custom URL. It'll be, youtube.com/averageafpodcast.
Yep, something we can post on
Right.
pretty much to every video that you can kind of click on and go right to it without a bunch of
Right.
clicking and finding.
Right.
So
right now, if you look in our Instagram bio, it says youtube.com/
yeah.
So it'd be cool if we could get that cleaned up.
Something
obviously,
you can memorize.
Yeah.
Without having to really look at it.
Obviously, it's just a matter of time, but, the quicker the better. So
Right. So if you do subscribe, if you haven't watched the video in a while, we're not begging you to, although we'd love you to.
Right.
But click on it and watch it for a minute or two. That way you don't get unsubscribed or through YouTube. So we think that's what's been happening.
Right.
So
It's all a learning process for this whole thing. I mean, you guys have been with us since we just did mics into a laptop. So, so we're just learning as we go and sharing the little bit of info that we have. But speaking of that, we did kind of against, not my better judgment, but I didn't want to. And I'm kind of embarrassed to say this live now that we are recording and all that kind of stuff. But
here goes.
I made a TikTok.
It just sounds lame, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm super pissed.
It sounds like an 8-year-old kid's app that my son be playing with, and that's something that
we
would.
It is. It is.
Oh my God, I was right.
Yeah.
It's exactly how it sounds.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's just like the new thing, I guess, and I'm not into it too much, but honestly, I posted the 3 clips that you guys saw on YouTube or Facebook this last week. I posted them on there just to see what happened, and each clip got, the first 2 got over 150 views, and the last one got like 90 or something like that. So, it seems to be reaching people at least, and that's all we can ask for is just to kind of get the word out there that we're around and, hopefully get more people to listen. But
So if you have a TikTok, you know what to do.
Yep.
Spread the word on there for us. We're just trying to get exposure, however we can get it. Gary Vee says, man the fuck up and do it. So guess what? We did it.
Yeah, he's been preaching that for like a year. And I just really did not want to do it.
That's one of those things, like, even when I hear him talk about it, it's like, I feel you, Gary, but...
Right. So I did, and like I said, we got, close to 400 views in a week, so, or in a couple days, really.
Nice.
So, on there we are, /Average AF podcast. So, our normal handle, just like everywhere else, you can find us on TikTok and hopefully on YouTube soon with that same handle.
Yeah,
so,
we need 100.
Yep. Not far away.
31 away?
Yep, 31 away.
So, we can do that.
Getting there. But yeah, man, how's your week been? What's been going on with you?
I feel like I was just here, to be totally honest with you.
I think you say that all the time.
Man, my life is just, I don't know.
We're both extremely busy.
I don't feel that busy. When I describe, what'd you do yesterday? I'd be like, damn, I really didn't do that much. But time just, it flies, man. I don't know how else to put it. Like, the weeks just, and the older I get, the faster it goes. But anyway, I talked a little bit about the Calm app thing I was doing. We may talk about that a little bit later. Some things that I've been kind of listening to on there that kind of changed my perspective on how I think about my thoughts and my feelings.
Okay.
Cool. We might get into that a little later, but I started smoking tobacco. Really, it became a thing that started when I was drinking, and then I got a point where I was stressed out, so I started doing it more regularly. And then now, over the last month or so, I've been trying to quit. So
you've been failing, bro.
I know. But there's a lot I can go into on that. The key for me though is learning to deal with the urges, obviously. So the other day I was in the car and I had been doing well. Didn't really have any urges to smoke or anything until I got off work. I was in the car. Obviously, people smoke in the car, so he was triggered. And then I almost caved, but then I just found myself getting really mad at myself and like cussing myself out almost. And
right.
So later on in the week, I talked to somebody about that, and they were like, maybe you should just try, instead of beating yourself up, just be like a cheerleader for yourself. Encourage yourself in a more positive way. And my immediate thought was that shit don't work for me. Like, I need somebody, like, if it ain't myself, I need somebody getting in my ass about it, because that spurs me to action.
Right.
And then I got to really thinking about it. Like, is that true, though? Like, can you think of a time where you were, I don't want to say coddling yourself, but, like, being a cheerleader, like, pushing you on, but being positive about it?
Right.
And have you ever been through that and it worked for you? And I couldn't think of a time. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. Instead of sitting there and like getting angry and cussing myself out and like quit being a bitch and all of this, and just try to use friendlier words, I guess, and see where it gets me. So that's what I've been doing lately. Just trying to catch those thoughts when they happen, because it's natural for me. I'm the biggest critic. I think we can all say that for ourselves. But the words that I use, I wouldn't necessarily talk to somebody else like that, but to myself, like, I'll run myself into the fucking ground, because I feel like that motivates me to go harder, and maybe it won't. Well, I just need to try the alternative.
You hit on it there at the end. That kind of brought up something that I had been listening to earlier this week too, and this can open up a ton of conversations, so we don't have to go into this. But they were talking about mental health and things like that, and like, why are we so hard on ourselves, saying like you're a piece of shit or like whatever it is, when you will never talk to anybody else that way?
Right.
Like, so why do you talk to yourself that way? What's the difference? Like, you're just beating yourself down for no reason. And I was like, it seems a little like Hollywood, because that's where they were, but like they make a valid point. You know what I mean? Like, you would never treat a kid like this or anybody struggling with something. You always say, hey, man, you got it. Like, let's just do it.
Right.
Not like, I mean, I guess I kind of did at the beginning of the episode. I said, you've been fucking up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the opposite. But
that's, like you said, a fair point, though.
Right.
I think just initially thinking about it, maybe it's because we can't beat our own ass. There's no consequences that are out of our own control when we talk to ourselves like that, versus talking to somebody else. You never know what could happen. So
I guess that's true.
Yeah,
that's fair. It's just an interesting perspective.
But but that's been really helping me, the Calm app thing. I did buy a few weights just because, and I heard the gyms were opening up back in Ohio on the 26th. I'm still, even though I'm excited as hell about it,
it's gonna be so fucking packed, dude.
No, I'm not even worried about that. I honestly think it won't be that bad. It'll just be so many restrictions and rules on how to move in that bitch.
That's true.
That it's gonna be I won't be able to focus on it and use it to kind of as a time to meditate, and because I'm worried about oh shit, he's coughing, or did I clean this machine good enough, or did they clean the machine good enough, or they're recommending that you wear masks in there. Like, I'm not doing that.
Not while you're working out.
Yeah, man. Like, sweaty mask on my face, and I got to wring it out every, 25 minutes. It was discouraging when I really thought about the rules that they're going to have to put in place for this to happen. So, I bought some weights. They're not the ones that I can find aren't quite as heavy as I like them to be. But, I've been using that, and that's been helping me kind of curb the smoking too. Is, working out every other day. So I've been doing that, and it's been, I miss it so much, and I realized what I wasn't getting. It's just that time to just kind of focus on doing one thing and just not thinking about life,
right?
For me. So really, that's about it, man.
On my end, this was, the week that I took off from work. I haven't worked all week. I'm very much dreading going back tomorrow.
Man.
Because as some people know, a couple listeners, the extent of stuff I do at work, like there's a lot of intricacies in my accounts and things like that because I got very kind of high level accounts and corporate accounts and just big, money makers basically, and they need things done a certain way, and it's just a whole big problem. Like taking on these accounts were such a pain in the ass, but once you get it, like it's fine. Right. Everybody's cool. But that said, me taking a week off work,
right,
I don't know what the fuck happened. So, I will say my emails and stuff were, kind of monitored by somebody I trust really well. So, good. Shout out Vicky. She's probably not listening, but shout out to her. She's great, but I just have a lot of weird things going on in my account. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
But aside from that, man, I kind of thought of a fun fact, just with me sitting around doing nothing really, that I know I told Baker. I don't know if I told you this yet. It's just something, it's kind of involving Corona and things like that. So I don't want to stick on that topic because every fucking podcast I listen to, like no matter what, they end up going towards that topic. And I get it, but I don't want to be that. So I want to be kind of an escape from that. Right. But with that said, I noticed that I have a mask, right? I have one. I physically have one. It's in my car because I know some places you have to wear one when you walk in. Like that's just their personal rule. So I have one just in case I need it for that reason. But I'm working from home and things like that, so I don't really need it. But throughout this whole Corona thing, the last 2-3 months, whatever the fuck it's been, I have literally never put a mask on my face.
Oh, wow.
This whole time. I have yet to even put it over my ears or anything like that, like a single time. And I just thought that was interesting because I don't know how many people can say that.
I honestly would probably be with you if it wasn't for work.
Yeah, but, some people have to wear them for work. Yeah. And,
I don't wear them outside of work because I have to wear it 40 hours a week.
Right.
It's just tough to put it back on your face when you're not there. So,
right. It's just interesting. I don't know how many people can say that. If you're in that group, comment on YouTube that you're part of the Cool Kids Club.
And then I don't know what to believe with it anyway, because for a long time they were just saying it's you don't only wear it if you're having symptoms, and then it went to everybody should be wearing them. So it was like, how do you go from one end of the spectrum to the other and literally a snap like that? So I was always just brushed it off anyways, but.
I know in LA they're required to wear them anytime they leave the house. Like it's a law. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. So, but like I said, I don't want to dive into that topic because fuck that. I don't care. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know how many people can say that, and I get that a lot of people want to be able to say that, but given that they work or even. Like, we have a doctor's appointment coming up for Harper because she's about to be 2. And, Jess said, that you have to wear a mask the whole time in the doctor's office, which I understand. But, there's just certain things there's certain times where you have to wear a mask. It's just part of it, and it's whatever. I have it in case I need it. I'm not opposed to putting it on. I don't want to, but if it comes down to it and I have to, whatever. But yeah, it's just interesting that throughout this whole thing, I have still yet to ever put a mask on my face. When I got it, I never tried it on. I folded it up. I put it in my pocket. And it's one of the like kind of cloth, stretchy kind of masks. I guess you could kind of say like it's made out of like boxer material.
Oh, okay.
Kind of something like that. It's not like a paper one or whatever. Right. So it's a decent little mask, and it would be comfy, but I've just never put it on. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you don't think you're gonna start either?
No,
no. I honestly,
unless I have to. Like if I have to go in somewhere where I have to go into that store for something, and it's a requirement, I'm not even gonna be upset. But like, I might like under my breath be like, "This is bullshit," but like whatever. Like it's whatever.
I think, and I hate saying this because I don't think it's equal. But with that being said, I don't think it's the risk is as high everywhere. Like I think where we live, we can be a little more lax in that sense. Right. Whereas in LA, New York City,
Yeah,
New York may be a smarter choice to put it on. But I think in a way we're lucking out by where we live at, because we've had our share of cases, but thankfully not more than, I think we've only had 2 deaths only. I say that, but that's minimal compared to some places, and we can probably afford to be more lax a little bit more than some areas,
But yeah, you see how that conversation can go into the whole fucking thing. Yeah, so not trying to do that, but we did have a couple things that we wanted to talk on this week's episode, kind of some lighthearted stuff, and then 1 or 2 at the end that just kind of maybe give a different perspective, and again, just try to make you think about things like why you're doing certain things, and kind of
why are you a Homo sapien?
Right.
Why are you acting like a Homo sapien right now, bro?
DNA, I don't know.
What acid? Some sort of acid you said you were on?
Hey.
You got some acid in you?
That was a long time ago. But yeah, you had the first topic.
What
do you want to talk about?
We never really talk about fashion. We talk about shoes, but as far as fashion, that's about where we go. And just thinking about myself, I've kind of thought back to when I was a kid. What was I into versus now?
Jinko jeans.
Jinko. Damn.
And some Osiris shoes.
Or R.I.P. to that style.
Yep.
You ain't never.
Yep.
I wonder how much a pair of Jinkos will go on Google right now. I mean on Amazon right now.
Probably a good amount.
Yeah, I'll bet you. Yeah, they're pretty rare. And they were naturally baggy. Like you can't
Huge,
find. Yeah,
massive.
Regular size, regular fit.
No. That was the point. Yeah.
But, where I grew up, inner city, if you black, you got a pair of Jinkos, something's wrong with you.
Right.
You just got to get made fun of. You can't. It's almost like wearing Vans, like a black dude with Vans on.
See, that was my life, dude. But we grew up differently.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of why I want to talk about it. But me personally, I'm kind of into the same brands and styles that I've always been into. I get a lot of slack for wearing jeans. And, when I look around, like a lot of people still wear jeans, but a lot of people, I guess, for example, I have a pair of like Stonewash, like that lighter blue.
Right.
And somebody made the comment at work, Steve's got his creeper jeans on. I'm like,
I was going to say, dude, you can't.
Why I don't understand why.
It's hard, man. I was actually looking at pants literally yesterday at the place you work.
Okay.
Just trying to get some stuff and things like that. Yeah. And there is just a whole section of jeans that I guess I would classify as like dad jeans.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's what we grew up with, like regular blue ass jeans.
Yeah.
And like maybe a little bit of fading. Like if you got a little bit of fading, my mom would be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, why would you do that?" and shit like that. But like now, like I completely walked past those. I said, I don't even want that. What I want is like these, kind of fake jeans that are colored. They're gray or black, or there was a maroon pair that I thought about getting. They didn't have my size, but like, and they're a straight fit.
Okay.
Right. I don't even want to do a regular fit anymore, because you got to do a straight fit for them to sit on top of your shoes. Right. And like all the shorts I get, or, other than basketball shorts. Right. But like the different shorts I get, or the jeans I get, or whatever, they're all flex fit and stretch a little bit, and they're just so much more comfy. But yeah, if I put on like a pair of blue ass jeans that are just actually denim, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, but it's the shit that we did like back in the 90s.
And I still don't feel weird in them. I wear a lot of jean shorts, which I hear mixed opinions about that too. Like,
that's a very Midwest dad type thing too.
Yeah. So,
but I like jean shorts too.
I'm comfortable in them. You know, I'm gonna wear what I feel comfortable in more than anything. But I look at think about some of the pictures I took when I was 17, and it's really the same thing, just baggier. I've grown, I've learned to play with the tailor fit a little bit more, more form fitting. But 10, 15 years ago, he was like, bro, like, why is your shirt that tight?
Right.
Like,
well, I think that came along with like the hip hop culture, honestly, because if you think about kind of the trends as far as fashion and clothes, it went along with that line early 2000s to 2006-ish.
Yeah.
It's all baggy shit.
Right.
You know, baggy shit and, you know, oversized T-shirts and chains. And then it just eventually, all the rappers would start to wear more fitted clothing. And I actually, you know, explicitly remember Mac talking about it, R.I.P. Mac. He was like, man, I'm just so much more comfortable in clothes that actually fit. You know what I mean? And then
it's crazy though, yeah.
And then I went and tried on like jeans that actually fit, and I was like, damn, this feels nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Right. I don't know why we didn't do that, but it wasn't as comfortable to have extra room.
Right.
It's more comfortable for things to fit on you correctly, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I feel that way too, but it took some getting used to. I'm not gonna lie.
It did.
It kind of felt like, you know, but after a while, you know, you kind of settle into it, if you will.
Right.
You know, but as far as it's really hard. You definitely can't do it right now. I've never been one to actually go to the dressing room though.
Yeah.
I'm the type to go in.
Very rarely.
Like, it had to be some shit that I've never bought before, or, you know, I've never bought this type of.
To be honest.
That's a valid point.
Or we're in a place where I'm not easily going to come back to return it. You know what I mean?
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So, you know, I've never been one to go in and try things on. It's just kind of go in, oh, what size is this? Yeah, that should work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a guy thing, though, for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to the ladies with the patience. I just don't.
Nope.
No, I just don't have it. Speaking of women's fashion, though, do you remember times have changed dramatically with, you know, back in the early 2000s from what I remember, you know, when they started wearing, like, making the low-cut jeans, the ones that are, like, barely, like, all maybe half inch from your belly button,
right?
You know, versus the ones that damn near cover half your stomach, right? Like they used to wear back in the day, and how those are slut jeans, and you know, girls can wear those, and you consider it a slut. And now, like, everybody, you rarely see the ones where the jeans are way up like they used to be.
So I think, and again, this is all just kind of, you know, what I grew up with. Like, as far as when I noticed a change was when, like Dukes of Hazzard. That show and the movie and stuff, when they remade the movie, and it was like I would say early 2000s or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't, who was in that? Jessica Simpson?
Jessica Simpson, yeah. Oh, yeah. I watched that a couple times. But I think that's kind of where, in my eyes, like, I don't know if it's from that or whatever, but that was the time frame of when things went back to more fitted stuff and, you know, show off the ass a little more and things like that. Like, so I don't know. It's just interesting that whether that caused it or not, I can kind of, the way my brain works anyway, is point to cultural kind of things that happened around that time frame that may have influenced that.
Right. The movement.
Yeah. Definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I actually had one for you because you said before. You know, before we recorded, we were like, you know, what the fuck do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
And you mentioned fashion just for a second. And I was like, okay, well, I actually had one. I had a question that I was going to text you.
Okay.
And then I was like, it's kind of embarrassing to text this. So then I was going to make, this is the way my brain works. Is, you know, you can make fun of me or not. This is going to be a little.
Roast his ass.
Yeah, I'm going to be real honest. So I was going to. So what I was going to do was I was going to make a post on Facebook and say, hey, I need everybody's feedback, anybody that wants to answer this or whatever. Not on the podcast Facebook, just like my personal one.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, hey, me and my buddy are having an argument, which is a lie.
Okay.
But I wanted to see, do you think it's a question as to whether you should or you shouldn't.
Okay.
Or kind of like an if or when.
Okay.
So there's a couple different levels to it. But should you or should you not match, like if you have nice shoes on.
Okay.
Should you match your shoes with your shirt or jacket? Or
one or the other?
Yeah, should you match your shoes with your top? Whichever.
Gotcha.
Or is that like an old school thing? Because I heard there was basically something I was watching that said, no, that's not the cool thing to do anymore. I'm like, well, but I got like,
right.
Some of you might know I got some nice ass purple shoes.
Right.
The Court Purple 2.0s.
Oh yeah, them bitches sexy.
Yeah, and I like them a lot, but I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna wear with them because there's purple, black, and white on these shoes.
Yeah.
And I got this shirt. Shout out 90s Taco Bell.
Whoop, whoop.
But and I was like, I think it would look okay with that, but like, should I match that or is that like?
Well, when I get dressed, I always pick my top first.
I do too.
So I guess the shoes I kind of base on my top.
Okay. So I usually do unless it's a nice day and I'm in the mood for a certain shoe.
Okay, that's fair.
Then I say, hey, I'm going to whip out the Travis Scotts.
Right. I'll be like, hey, I haven't worn these in a while. It's a good day too. Probably won't be a while before I have a day like this.
But then I look through the wardrobe and say, what shirt can I match with this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or not necessarily match, but what shirt can go with this?
Right.
And a lot of times it's just a black shirt or a gray shirt.
Oh, my God. You nail on the fucking head,
You know what I mean? But, like, when it comes down to it, should I wear the Court Purples with this purple shirt? Right. Or is that too much? Especially with it being purple.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just... And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel weird doing that.
Okay.
And I don't think I would feel weird not doing that. Right. But at the same time, is there a better way to do it? Is there not?
If you look at, I can't think of any recent examples. I seen a picture though. The thing that came to my head first was I seen a picture. I used to have that same dilemma. Like, God damn, my outfit has to match or I can't wear it.
Right.
But when I think about it, I'm not really looking at other people. So why do I give a shit? Like, I'm not really like, oh my God, he needs to change that. Like, that shirt.
Yeah,
like,
I've never looked at somebody's shoes and been like, what the fuck? Why are you wearing that?
Never. My former roommate, she used to say, one day we walking into the movie theater and she was like, you cuffing those jeans and those shoes is really clashing right now. And I looked at her and I was like, you bitch.
How dare you?
Right. Like, how dare you critique how I feel today, pretty much. You know what I mean? But maybe it was. Maybe from the outside it just looked like, ooh. But should I care? Should I not? I don't know.
But then you gotta, so like for me, like you gotta, judge your jeans kind of off that too.
True.
And that kind of is why I wanted to talk about this since you brought up the fashion thing. It's like, and it all started, I never cared. I never gave a fuck until I bought fucking Jordans.
Yes.
And then I'm like, dude, I got like a pair of my shoes are like $600.
Yeah.
They go for like $900 right now. Ooh, so you know what I mean? Oh. But like if I put those on, I'm gonna be like, all right, what? Right. I can't wear these with it. I can't wear that. Like, and it's an limited issue.
Yeah. It's where you're either wearing all black, all white,
right?
Or you know what I mean. And I think I so much of my shoe collection is black, white, or red.
Right. But see, my thing with my shoes, I've been trying to get color.
Right.
My thing, when I buy Jordans and stuff is these are fucking expensive shoes, right?
Yeah.
The cheapest Jordan I have is like $115, which isn't much compared to, what we've seen now.
Yeah,
but to the average person, that's a pretty expensive shoe. But I have like a black pair that I can wear with whatever. But then everything else, like I got one pair, the Blue the Greats that have like literally 8 different colors on them.
Yeah.
I got the Travis Scotts, which are like a powder blue type color. I got the Toros, which are all bright ass red and some black. I got the Court Purples. You know what I mean? I got some, blue ones, some gray ones, some black ones. But I got a lot of color, and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to wear with this other than just black?
It kind of forces you to buy shit.
Right. That's my thing.
And have a huge wardrobe just to match.
I don't care about my shirts, man, or anything like that. I just like these nice shoes, but I can't put them on with this fucking $5 T-shirt from Walmart.
I'll tell you the day I quit, I halfway quit giving a fuck about that. I was going to mention earlier, and I got sidetracked. I seen a picture. It's a older picture now, but it was LeBron.
I was going to say, was it Russell Westbrook?
Oh, my God.
But that's the thing. You can't. These people are all over the fucking place.
Yeah. Like, I seen LeBron, his outfit, his shorts were camo, his shirt was like this off burgundy color, and his shoes were like, it was like LeBron 13s. It was some special editions. They had like hits of pink and Like he had literally 8 different colors on.
Right.
But nobody's going to criticize that. And then
but
looking at
fine.
it, yeah, exactly.
Right.
So when I seen that, I was like, you know what? Just stop.
Right.
Where's something that doesn't clash too heavy, I guess, in your own mind, and just go with it. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to be like, damn, I remember that last Thursday, dude, when you wore them bright ass yellow shoes with that dark ass, like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to really give a shit. So I just kind of learned to dress how I feel. But once you start collecting shoes like that, it's kind of hard to just have nice shoes and then
there's a weak ass shirt. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate to bring this into it, but like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I think you can get away with mix matching colors and stuff like that more than I can as a white dude.
Ooh, so it's a racial thing.
Yeah, dude. No, like a little bit. And and let me preface it with this, because we got into this, obviously not argument, but kind of a debate. And this was like probably a year ago. I don't know if you remember this, but I said white guys cannot wear all white shoes. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you said, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? You're an idiot, right? But do you remember we pulled up pictures?
Yes.
And black dudes with all white shoes looked fine, looked great. White dudes with all white shoes, you were like, no. Like,
right.
It just doesn't work.
Why does it just not look appealing?
Right.
Compared to a black dude in the same exact shoes, though.
Right. And even same exact outfit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
tied the same way and everything. It just...
And I think I prefaced that with like, look, man, this is going to sound weird, but let me, think about it with me.
Damn.
And it's kind of real, like a complexion thing. Like, I can't pull off, pink and camo and then blue. Like, it's just not going to work for me.
Right.
It might work for you.
Darker complexions kind of help?
I think the contrast helps.
Got you.
So, like, for example, your yellow jersey, your Magic Johnson, right? That's what you got on?
Yeah.
That looks good on you, right?
Okay.
On me, it's not going to look as good. Especially in a white-ass T-shirt like that. You know what I mean?
That's crazy, man.
But it's real. Like,
that is crazy. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
You know what I mean? So I think I have different options than you do as far as colors go anyway. Yeah. And I'm the guy that likes color.
Yeah. Damn.
You know
we need some more feedback on that.
Right.
Like, how do people... I don't know too many white guys that, I guess, try to dress fashionably or really think about... I'm just throwing a T-shirt and these pants today.
Now, I will say...
Go outside.
The white guys that I've seen that dress, like, colorfully or whatever are generally, like, hippies or something.
Okay.
And they all kind of... And, no disrespect to hippies. Like, everybody classifies me as a hippie or whatever. But, like, they kind of have their own...
You one cool-ass hippie, bro.
You know what I'm saying? But... not anymore. But, like, they all kind of have their own color scheme. Generally, like, a green, yellow, red, the browns and the tans and things like that. And that's cool.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't see too many hippies wearing purple. Too many. And these are all generalizations, obviously. Yeah. But, like, I don't see, like you said, many white dudes, especially around here, try to be that fashionable.
Right.
So I just, and I'm not trying to be, on the red carpet.
I wish we could do a live. We should do a live on that. Our first live session should be that question and get live feedback on your opinion. Like, what some white dudes who try to dress 2020, do colors. What do you think about that?
You know what we should do? We should do just like that, but with our shoes. Okay. We each bring in like 4 or 5 pairs of shoes and throw them up and say, what do we wear with this? Right. We get some black pants. We get some gray pants. We get, high socks, low socks if you're wearing the shorts. Like, you do a tank top,
Yeah. I like it.
I think it might be fun. You never know. Let us know if you'd want to see that. But
so my final question about the fashion thing, though, and we'll move on to something else. For 35 minutes in.
Shit.
Yeah. Has your style evolved over time? Do you see? Is there a certain type of style you see yourself getting into as you age?
So,
because honestly, I don't think I'll be able to dress like this and pull it off 60, 70 years old. Like, so what type of thing do you think you end up falling into?
I think I'm gonna fall into the fashionable Midwestern dude. You know what I mean? Like, I still like my plaids. I like my flannels. I'm a t-shirt guy, you know, and I'm not a fashionable guy, really. I don't consider myself fashionable at all, except my shoes.
Yeah.
But the shoes dictate a lot of other things.
Right.
And it sucks because I'm going to spend a couple $100 on a nice pair of shoes, but I'm not going to spend $40 on that shirt that goes with it.
Right.
I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to spend $10 on a shirt that I kind of like, and hopefully it goes with the pair of shoes.
Yeah.
But I've caught myself, and I mean, this is kind of getting off what you asked, but I've caught myself recently looking at shirts and said, what shoes can I wear with that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could wear these or these, you know.
Start tying it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. But yeah, I'm not gonna become a fashionable dude or anything like that. But, you know, I like probably more flannels, right?
Yeah.
And t-shirts. I don't think it's gonna change too much for me, but I don't dress that flashy anyway.
Right. I used to be really heavy into polos, like long sleeve button down, full length, like polo shirts.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to wear a lot of that in college.
I was gonna say I never wore a polo until like after high school.
I loved it. I
hate polos.
And, you know, it just made me feel more grown up when I was 16, 17, you know. And then I kind of gotten away from that, not intentionally, but just over time. But I think when the older I get, I'm going to get more back into that. And I can see myself doing little shit like tucking my shirts in and
that's asking a lot, dude.
I can really see myself, you know. I don't think I'll start wearing suspenders and no shit like that, bow ties and shit, but you know, and I wear a lot of hats too. I thought that would die down a little bit. No, I got about, dude, at one point I had 35. Jeez. And I'm very particular about the brand. If it ain't a New Era, I got one hat that's not a New Era cap. One. Yeah. And that was the 2014 Ohio State Championship hat. Right. Official Nike hat. So I'm like, okay, get that. It was dope. So I was like, yeah. But at one point, man, I had 35 and I counted how much I paid for each one of them. It came out to like $785.
I was going to say, usually like a nice hat's $25, $30 at least. So
yeah. I bought some that was 75 before. Generally, though, I had an all cashmere one that was white cashmere with snowflakes on it. And it was fire, and it was $75, and it was on my wish list for about 2 months, but I finally pulled the trigger on it. And when I finally got it, I didn't even wear it that much. It was just kind of like I'm the only one with this type thing,
right?
You know. But generally speaking, I'm spending 35 or better, 35 to 40.
See, I'm the opposite as far as hats. Like this hat, I've had for probably 4 years now.
Yeah,
it's a P-Dank hat, so. Which is Spose. I don't know if you remember listening to him.
Yes.
But I just like snapbacks. That's the only thing I care about is a snapback, and it has to fit right, but don't really care. But my thing is I stick to hats. That's the problem. I have probably 10 hats, but I don't really mix it up too much.
And you got a Boston one I remember you buying a while back. I'd never seen you wear that one.
Yeah, I know I have like an Under Armour one too. They're all at the other house now, still, to be honest. But I just don't. I'm not
your ones that you just rock with, and that's it.
And I got a nice Brooklyn Nets one to a Mitchell and Ness, you know, that I actually got for free. Somebody gave to me.
Nice.
And I got some other decent hats, but I just really rock with one, man. Like just a comfortable hat. You know, I've always said a hat is a man's makeup. Okay. You know, it just makes us look a little better.
I understand.
If you guys notice, I wear a hat a lot in the videos.
I like that. I've been trying to go about every other week.
Right.
Every other week. But you probably see them all over time. But that's. I think we should move on from that.
Okay. Yeah, man. But that was fun. I didn't really get any answers with my. But that's the problem. The mismatch thing as far as shoes and tops, but. I just don't know.
It's complicated. It really is.
Yeah, I don't know. Next topic, though, was actually brought up by my roommate, Billy. So shout out to Billy. Shout out to him.
Big Billy.
He actually mentioned that he thinks money breeds beauty. And his argument was that he's never seen an ugly chick driving a $50,000, Mercedes or SUV or anything like that.
Right.
And I mean, he makes a kind of a valid point in that aspect.
Yes.
But my first initial reaction was, money doesn't breed beauty. I would kind of think of it the opposite. I think beauty obviously doesn't breed it, but beauty kind of makes it easier for you to get more money.
Right.
And that's an unpopular opinion, mainly from beautiful people. So if you're kind of offended by that,
I'm sorry.
You're probably an 8 or up. But for us threes, these are things that we notice. But yeah, I think it's kind of, I don't want to say it's easy because everybody's got struggles, and generally in the world people try to be fair and things like that. But when you're a beautiful person, male or female or whatever you want in between, if you're a beautiful person, you are more likely to get that job.
Right.
You are more likely to get that raise, that promotion, that you're more likely to be let into the club, especially. That's an easy one.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's just benefits of being good looking versus not.
Right.
And I kind of wanted your opinion on that. What do you think of that when you first hear it?
So what Billy said, naturally thinking about it, like, I can see where you're coming from, but I tend to agree with your train of thought more. This is probably a weird example, but it's not a coincidence that when I go to Texas Roadhouse or Cheddar's, that most of the people that you see are women and they're pretty attractive. Like, that's not, you think, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not to it's all perception really at the end of the day. However, you can't deny, you know what I mean? Like, the lack of males, and really there's no, like, nobody I would consider like completely unattractive. And that, just thinking, if I own a business, that attracts people.
It makes sense.
It does, but is it fair?
Well, so I'm glad you brought up like a food place, because I've worked a lot of food places and stuff like that, and generally speaking, what you said is right, where a lot of the people in the front, the hostesses or the waitresses or even the waiters, are more attractive people, and then the ugly Bettys get fucking thrown in the kitchen with my ugly ass. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just real. And,
fact of life.
And it's not me trying to shit on anybody or anything like that, but like, if you go in for an interview and you are not quote unquote the prettiest person or whatever, and you're going in for an interview to be a waitress, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they will. Obviously, these are, again, generalizations, but a lot of times they'll say, hey, we actually have a position for you here on the fucking fryer, like, or whatever.
Shit.
You know what I mean? Right. But they're like, we're not going to put you out to be the first thing that people see.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just trying to be real. Right. I think that's the reality of the situation. So it's just, prettier people and more attractive people generally get more opportunities for things. Right. And I think
not fair, but it's reality.
And I think that in and of itself will then come with money, right?
Right.
If you're an attractive person, generally speaking, you will end up with another attractive person or something like that. And guess what? Right. You're going to probably have good jobs and things like that. And then your child is going to be an attractive person with rich parents who is now going to be, going to have some influence on the town. And now you're going to be the quarterback of the team. And then, now you have more opportunities just for that. Yeah. And all the chicks in school, you know what I mean? Like, it's just what it is. It's just the reality of the situation. If you think about high school or, middle school or whatever, or even college, like, very rarely do you have an ugly quarterback. Like, that's just the reality of it. I specifically remember my high school, we had 2 people that were, going out to be the quarterback of the varsity team. Mm-hmm. One person got it, the starting position. He was more attractive than the second person, who was a way better player.
Shit.
I'm just being honest. Right. Like, and I just think, that's the reality of it. So,
if you don't have looks going for you, because, let's be honest, there's some dumb hot people in fucking Hollywood.
For sure.
If you don't have the look, then you better have the charisma.
Right.
You better have the personality that just takes you over the top. You
right.
know what I mean? That's about the only way it seems to. And, you know, just thinking about what you're talking about, you know, there's many factors why people are so fucking self-conscious of their looks and how they look, because I think it's from an early age is planted into our heads that, you know, the better you look, the more opportunities are just generally going to come your way. You may not have to work as hard if you look good.
Right.
You can put in all the work you want, but if you don't look the part, it's just that much harder for you to get ahead. So, you know, I think that's easily one of the biggest factors, that people are just so self-conscious about how they look, and especially in public, and their perception of other people and all of that, because, you know, and it's really some fact to it. Maybe we put a lot more emphasis on it than we should, but, you know, at the end of the day, generally speaking, the better you look, the more you look the part, the better, you know, those opportunities are going to come your way. It just is what it is.
And you know, I do want to say too that, you know, I do think, just generally speaking, these companies and just these, you know, coaches or whatever, they're trying to be fair to everybody. They are, but it's just, I don't know if it's a subconscious thing or what, but it's just, and this is like my favorite thing to say. Usually it's when I say something, outlandish or whatever, but there's a statistic out there that proves this, that the more attractive you are, most likely the more successful you are, as long as you're not a fucking idiot.
Right. Or a murderer.
Even if you are, you can still probably do decent.
Right.
Like, it's just the reality of it. And like I said, that's just something that, you know, myself as a 3, I've noticed. And I could be biased and, you know, just upset, but I think that's valid though, you know?
Yeah. Now I'm just trying to play devil's advocate from Billy's point about what he said, money bringing beauty. You can buy your looks, I guess, but you can't breed that. You can't really, not alone. You know what I mean?
Well, and his point again was, you know, he's never seen an ugly chick drive, you know, an expensive car. He was making a joke, obviously, but I think you can still say that with the way we're talking, you know, the you know, and the way, you know, the approach that we have with it.
Right.
I would agree with what he said, but I think the approach is different. I think she got to that position because she's a little more attractive.
Right.
And
right.
I don't know.
Interesting point. We'd like some feedback on that too.
Yep. We
Negative
could be assholes,
positive.
You know, with the 3 here and the 7 there, you know.
Stop it. Stop it.
Sorry, I don't know.
No. We and it's so subjective. Everything we talk about is, but you know,
and these are all generalizations. You know,
but I think there's some truth to definitely that. But I want to hear what other people think.
Right,
I really do.
Sure.
I really do.
And I'm gonna quote Daniel Tosh. It's not a quote because I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of like, "These are just the observations of the world around me. When that changes, I'll change what I say."
Right.
Like. He said something along those lines, like, this is just what I'm noticing, like, you know, and things like that. But we have potentially 2 more, depending on how long we go here. We're at already like 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know. Didn't take long, did it?
Yeah. This last one, though, it's a little more, I guess, I think it's a little more thought-provoking. It's a question that I asked myself, and it sounds very simple on the surface, but I think when you look deeper into it, it's not as easy. But it's basically what, aside from like a family and having children and things like that, like what is the point of a relationship? As far as, you know, with a spouse or something like that. Obviously, there's a family and things like that. But aside from that, like, what is the point of a relationship if you're not looking for a family or something like that? What would be the point? Or what would you look for, I guess? What would you want to get out of a relationship? I guess that's a better way to word it.
I think initially my first answer to that would be somebody to share your experiences with. The things you go through in life, they're exciting to you, but when somebody else was there or they can see like I guess stories play out from like the journey from this place to this place in your life, or that job to this job to this job, and oh shit, now you hit your goal.
Right.
It's cool in and of itself for you to go through that, but to be able to share that with somebody else and them sharing your enthusiasm, I think that's probably the single biggest thing about it. Just having a companion to actually be to have somebody in your life, and then vice versa, to where you can go and see their progression through life and who they become over the years. Right. I think a lot of that is just that natural curiosity, just to watch somebody else's story play out and then have somebody there for your story too.
But how's that different than a friendship?
So you talking like?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if that wasn't clear. Yeah, like a girlfriend, a spouse, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, then, I would agree with that.
Wow.
Like, what do you want out of a relationship? Like, what's the point of a relationship if you're not immediately thinking of family or whatever?
I don't know. That's a fucking hard question.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the reason I bring it up is because, like, again, I was just watching TV or a podcast. I don't remember.
I mean,
what it
you
was.
can say like, "Oh, sex is amazing," but you can do that. You don't have to have a relationship to do that,
right? And there is the companionship and things like that, but like you can get that with
just
we've
a homie.
Seen each other evolve and stuff like that, and it's
with
cool.
a homie, yeah.
And it's not as intimate, really, but is that what you need in a relationship? Is just the extra intimacy or the sex?
Some people are not intimate though, and still in relationships.
Right. Again, that's kind of my point. Is that's why I phrased it that way. What's the point of a relationship if you're not immediately thinking family or whatever? Like, what do you get out of that other than, like, what you can get from your friends?
That made me think of the saying that, humans are social beings. We can't stand to not. And I've always kind of wanted to test that out. Like, I've never been. How would I react to true isolation? But then again, I don't know. You can definitely do that with somebody else too. That's not in a. I guess I don't even know, man.
What I mean?
That's a crazy question.
On the surface, it sounds like an easy question.
Yeah.
But when you actually like sit down and think of it, it's different. And I jotted something down here just because I wanted to make sure that I remembered it. But I always get very upset when. I guess upset's not the right word because I understand, but I don't know how to phrase it, but like it upsets me without actually upsetting me. But that when people like break up or whatever, people want to, potentially kill themselves or you know what I mean? Like they're super depressed and I get that and I understand that and all that makes sense. But to me, I don't want you in my life to be like the focal point of my life. You know what I mean? I don't want you to be the center of my world. I want you to be beside me so that we can go about this journey together.
Got you.
And like you said, watch each other grow and things like that. So like I just want to have and I don't know if I'm weird in this aspect. It's kind of why I bring it up is because I just want to have my things that I like and I love and that I want to do and all these things, all these interests and the podcast or, whatever.
Yeah.
And I want to get somebody that goes along with my goals and things like that. And then I will help them out with theirs.
Right.
And, that's the relationship I'm looking for. I'm not looking for somebody to, just, I guess, fall in puppy love with and just swarm them and be around them all the time. Yeah. And there's a time and place for that and things like that. But like you're supposed to, let me see what I had here. This is what I wrote verbatim. I said, you're not supposed to be the focal point of my happiness. You're supposed to add to it and help me succeed.
And vice versa. Right.
Exactly. Obviously. Right. It has to be both ways. But I don't think it's healthy to be in a relationship where your happiness depends on if that person is there or not.
Ooh.
I don't think that's healthy because then when they, leave or whatever, then what do you have? Your happiness is gone.
Right.
They took it or whatever. I want to be happy and do my thing and whatever, and I want to share that with you.
Right.
And I want you to be able to push me or guide me or whatever, and I'll do the same for you and things like that. But we need to have our own thing and our own ways of getting happy and being happy aside from each other. You can add to it, obviously, and things like that, but it's I personally, and I could be wrong here, you know, I don't want my significant other to be the focal point of my happiness.
Got you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So same question though. Why can't you just do that with a homie? What's the difference?
That's why I'm bringing up this question.
I mean, there isn't one.
You know what I mean?
Like, there isn't one. Okay, so a deeper answer I had, maybe just thinking about it, was maybe I know that just generally speaking, humans have like this innate desire to belong.
Right.
And I think it's subconscious for a lot of people. It's not gonna come out and say like, "Oh man, I just will you belong to me and I'll belong to you," and we just, you know what I mean. But I think just this deeper desire to have a bond,
right,
with like, why does it have to be, you know, somebody that I mean, I guess homosexuals do it all the time. Like, I don't understand.
Well, like that's my thing. Like, so you brought up kind of like, you know, our makeup in our mind. Like, I don't know how to say it, but like, we're programmed basically to want to be with somebody or whatever, to belong and to feel like you have a purpose and things like that. Right. And I understand that, and that makes sense. And, you know, if that's the way you feel, that's perfectly fine and things like that. But the way my mind works is to kind of like try to get rid of all the programming, and make my own programming.
Gotcha.
Because I don't want to do things because my body says I have to, or my mind is programmed for a certain thing. And if it comes down to it where I make that same decision, I just want it to be more or less my decision rather than a subconscious thing. Right. So that's why I, you know, try to think so deeply about things, is like, you know, I don't want to fall into something that I didn't want to do. And, you know, again, I've been off work all fucking week and thinking about a lot of stuff and watching a lot of podcasts and a lot of TV and just things that people throw out there. But I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, if a family's not what you want, because some people are like that, right? Some people just don't want a family, and that's cool. And some people don't necessarily need the intimacy or the sex, like you said, and that's fine too. But if you are that person that doesn't want either of those, what's the purpose of a relationship other than, I guess, you know, reassurance or whatever?
Right.
But I don't want that either.
Right.
So, like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's kind of a heavy question, and I'm not trying to get, like, super heavy with it, but, like...
Yeah, man.
Once you think of it on a deeper note, like, what is the point of it if you don't care about a family, or you don't care about a... you know, or intimacy, or you don't care about being reassured by somebody. Right. And I'm not saying that's me necessarily, but like, if that's the case,
then you'd probably be better off just not in a relationship. Right. You'd probably end up happier and end up accomplishing more.
Right. Single. But then you're going to be the weird guy that's 50 years old and single and doesn't have kids or whatever.
There's just millions of those though, man.
Right.
For whatever reason, but yeah.
But you're the weird guy. You know what I mean? If that's the case.
Right. And it always looks like you did something wrong somewhere down the road if you're 60 years old and you have no...
Or there's something wrong with you, or you're an asshole, or there's something in your past. Or yeah. But some people are just like that to where it's just not for them. Right. And it's just, I don't know, it's just something I wanted to bring up.
That's a deep question, bro.
And ask you and, you know, ask our listeners as well. Like, you know, obviously there's the love that you have for each other, but I don't, especially now in 2020, I don't personally agree with how a lot of relationships are ran, I guess. You know what I mean?
Built.
Right. Yeah. I want to have my own happiness, and then you're a plus to that. Right. Right. Again, and I mentioned this either last week or the week before, I think, I need somebody, or, you know, I want somebody that wants me but doesn't need me. And that's kind of the same idea. Like, I have my happiness already. Like, I'm cool. I'm not depending on you for my happiness.
Right.
But it's cool if you come along and maybe I'm more happy now or whatever. But
I can be happy without you.
Right.
Yeah, no matter how long we've known each other or been together or whatever.
Right. It's just an interesting...
Damn, that's deep.
And that's what I said at the top. Like, it sounds like an easy question, but it's something to get your mind thinking a little bit. Like, why do we do things a certain way?
Right. Like you said, I think a lot of it is just the awareness of what our natural tendencies as humans are. And that's what the meditation thing has been doing for me, which I'll talk about that next week. We don't have time this week.
Oh, we can talk about it, dude. We're only at an hour. You got 5 minutes on it? 10 minutes on it?
No, I don't want to limit it.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't. I really don't. I think it can spark some questions that can easily take another half hour.
Cool.
I think it's a good topic for next week. But yeah, it's I think a lot of what meditation is just becoming aware of not necessarily giving in and just feeling like we have to act based on how we feel and what we think. We can kind of take a back seat to that. Kind of like being in the movie theater. And, like, emotions are just kind of like the atmosphere, and what you see and what you experience is the picture of it.
Well, right. Again, and I hate, I do this every fucking week, but I've talked about that before. Like, I try to see things without emotions. Yeah. I try to make decisions without emotions as much as possible. Obviously, there's certain times where that's not the case or whatever, but, like, I try to... make decisions and look at scenarios and look at outcomes from an unbiased perspective.
Right.
And I think that's why, again, like this last fucking question, I think of it that way because I'm taking all the emotions out of the relationship.
Right.
What's left?
Right.
Not fucking much. And that's just me, though. That's me.
I think it's a fair point, though.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to get like super deep,
that's a hell of a question though.
Right.
It really is.
And guys, we want your feedback too. I could just be a maniac, you know what I mean? I don't know, but like you said, I think it's a valid point. I think it's a valid question. Like, I just hate.
I think people just don't question stuff like that.
Exactly. That's my point.
They just fall into it because they feel like it's the right thing to do.
Right. Well, you're right, because it's the right thing to do. That's what society tells you to do.
And
you know me, like
all of that.
Yeah. I don't do what society does for them. If I feel like I want to do that, then cool, like or whatever. But I try to
and peer pressures and shit. And I think it's peer pressures that we're not even fucking conscious of sometimes that we just act on. But yeah,
and this is gonna get me in trouble. But like, I don't believe in peer pressure. I believe in weak-minded.
Ooh,
like
I like that.
Yeah. If people can talk to you and say some words and convince you to do something you don't want to do, that's not peer. I mean, it is, but that's you being weak-minded.
Right.
That's you being not strong enough to say no.
Right. I like it.
Fuck off.
I like it. I like it.
All right, man.
This week's outro track.
Yep, go for it.
We got Royce the 5'9". Huge fan of him. I really didn't become a fan of him probably until a little bit after Bad Meets Evil came out.
Bad Meets Evil.
I had heard of him before that, but I didn't realize the spitter that he was.
Right.
He dropped the album in February. It's called The Allegory. Go check it out. This is a track on it called Thou Shall.
Yep.
So.
And then real quick too, guys, just again, make sure to subscribe if especially if you've made it all the fucking way through this goddamn episode.
Yeah.
Please subscribe. Share it on socials, all that kind of stuff. We're on fucking TikTok now. Yeah, so, give us a follow, give us a like, whatever the fuck you do on there. But just spread the word. That's all we're asking.
Please. And thank you.
Yes. But other than that, guys, have a good night.
We out.
Thou shalt not fuck with Detroit me. Never owned a Coogee Ford truck or a pair of them Gator Maurice. Please hold your applause for these parables and stories. Give all praise to Allah, to God be the glory. My papa raised me like I'm a dog with rabies. Playing the hard in a drop Mercedes. Riding with the chopper daily. Pupils dilated like I'm Sada baby. Nozzle on that gun larger than the one on that Gaga ladies. Play with my time like I'm a playful Don. My arm comes out the car, my window down like I'm trying to borrow some Grey Poupon. First these bitches love it, then they hate it, then they hate to love it. I'm straight with publishing, I don't care if the radio station's stubborn. Y'all haters busters, I'm David Ruffin. It'll take me nothing to put your life on a dollar menu right there here by the Egg McMuffin. Why these boys ordering shots, snorting rocks and important thoughts. I'm floating with 40 knots to the bag like I'm a border cop. Any artist in hip-hop fuck with nickel stock, sure to drop. Especially if he Russell Wilson, good guy, sorta pop, you sure to die. Paul Bearer's brain flowers, he's mortified. Me and Porter got the same stand power that Hoarders got. Whoever's Superman, I got kryptonite in these hands. But I'd rather Superman leave you liquefied with these cans. I don't care if you rap niggas, it's trending topic. Your shit is garbage. You couldn't make a classic out of that trash if you had Brenda drop it. You at the rental car spot Enterprise while I'm enterprising. I don't cop my whips without copping rims and a body kit, and my tennis darkened. Closest I'ma probably get to window shopping.